Well, after splitting this into multiple videos, let's give this a shot, see what we start to see about it in solo, because I've played it otherwise. Anyway, yellow player, first thing he gets to do, he gets his 2-3 actions. He's got a cup. I don't necessarily want to consolidate goods at this point. It's more interesting for me to start fixing things. This isn't an important space, but I'm going to fix it for 1. And beyond that, I don't have anything really, strong on my mind. So I'll just wander around a little bit. I'm staying in the general vicinity of this. Actually, I'm fine here. Hold on. Let's just go 2-3 instead. That seems more useful. Alright, now I pick 2 of these. I'm going to get a cat and another cup. And I'm beginning to collect an interesting assortment, so that's kind of cool. Now I draw 3 of these. And the game goes pretty quickly, actually. Temple of the Moon. And the Fool's Landing, which we have to fix. Okay, one of the problems is with so many players, there's a possibility that Fool's Landing will go back in the deck before somebody who's able to deal with it quickly can get to it. It has to be a major goal, say, of this guy. And he has the bonus ability of being able to shore 2 things up. So his move, he's going to go 1, 2, and then 3. He's going to fix these. Now, do I want to do the Temple of the Moon or the Coral Palace? I like this because it's close to the Fool's Landing. The Temple of the Sun is just as close or closer as the Temple of the Moon. So I finished that up. I've made it so we don't lose immediately. And I get my draws. Oh. Alright, so first thing we do is we tick this up to 3. And now I get to shuffle this. Oops. This goes here. I get to shuffle this pile and it goes right on top of there. And then we'll draw from it. I'm going to pause while I shuffle because I can't really do that with a camera in my... If I hadn't been close to Fool's Landing, the Water's Rise could mean that we just lost the game right here, because now I'm drawing from here and I get 3 draws instead of 2. This card counts against my draws. I've got to remember that kind of thing. Breaker's Bridge. It's out of the game, and the card 2. Silver Gate, and we're going to get rid of a number of pieces. Okay, this guy just had what he's sitting on fall away. He's allowed to do a quick free move to get himself to safety. If he can't live, the game's over. Everybody loses because one of the explorers died. His treasures must not be terribly valuable, I guess. So, I think I'll go this way because the concentration is more in this direction. And now a third one. And this is very bad because I haven't had a lot of chance to fix things, so the things that just came up are, and are already flipped are disappearing on me, and that's a bad start to the game. Okay, over to this Explorer. He can do things diagonally. Now, between us, we still don't have a full set of 4. So working towards that doesn't make a lot of sense. By the way, had I not been able to shore up Fool's Landing, that's a good use for the sandbags before somebody starts drawing from there. Just make sure you don't lose, right? Okay, so the green player, well, 1, 2, I know these are coming up soon. Where do I want to go next? It doesn't really make much difference, but I'll position myself there. Not a good start. The Dunes of Deception go up here. They will be the next card, and they're going under. This goes up. And now we pick 3 again. I picked 2 cards? I only picked 1 card, right? I only picked one card. See, it's that problem I have. And I get a cat. Okay, so now we actually have enough of these sphinxes to set them up. And green's not too far from them, so if people can start handing him sphinxes, that would be helpful. If they can hand them to gray, gray can throw them to him. Good concepts in play there. Let's see if we... Okay, the Dunes of Deception go away. Twilight Hollow is not destroyed. And the Howling Garden is not destroyed. Okay. Now we're over here to the Messenger. He doesn't particularly have anything he wants to throw. He's not in a particularly good location either. So here's what he can do. He could... yellow can give things here. Red's lion, 1, 2, 3, can also be given. So I don't know that I'm terribly needed to throw things, but I might be. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to flip this over for my third. I think that's the best I can do right now, although it does kind of give me too much concentration in one area of the board. I get a lion, which if I had at the beginning of my turn I could have thrown. I get a helicopter lift. That could be very useful. You need that to win the game as well, but usually you don't. Your first draw is used elsewhere for it. And now we draw from here, the Temple of the Moon. Coral Palace. And the Fool's Landing. And we knew that was coming up. One reason to stay in the general area of the stuff that you've seen falling down, if you can remember it. There is some memory in the game, there's no question. Okay, so yellow. Yellow will move 1. 2, I'm handing him a lion. He's at 4, so he's still okay. He doesn't have to throw anything away. And 3, I'm going to close this up. I have the sandbags, and I could use them. But I'm not too terribly worried about that right now. Do I want to use them on something else? No, not yet. I've gone through a couple of the water's rises, so I feel like we're going to be in better shape. And I think we have a full set of fire as well. So people are going to be handing things off there. The Golden Gate. The Phantom Rock. We're in new stuff now. And the Misty Marsh. One thing in comparison to, say, Pandemic, is this is very immediate. Things are falling apart around you. I found that kind of appealing to this game, although it only has a limited charm, I think, overall. That factor is kind of neat to it. So now I'm over here to the Engineer. Now the Engineer wants to give the green player a lion, and we have to agree on someone who's going to take care of the fire. Well, 2 actions to give the green player my lion. So I have 1 free action. I'm going to take that to worry about the Coral Palace. So I do 1. Oh, I'm the Engineer. I do 1 to fix both of them. Oh shit. No, I thought I could. I thought I was the guy who could move diagonally. Gray's got a lion too, but that won't get to the Explorer in time. I can walk through these. Alright, I think it's more important 1, 2 to hand the lion off than it is to try to fix those. Although I would have liked to have fixed this. But I'm in a position where I can fix a couple of these. Next turn at least. Now we get our draws. More rock. More fire. I'm collecting fire. I may be the best person to give the fires to. Perhaps. Waters. Temple of the Sun. Now this is dangerous because both of these are gone. The Whispering Garden, well, are in danger of going away. And the Bronze Gate. Basically, if a Water Rises comes up, this guy should sandbag to try to fix something. To prevent the game from ending due to one of these not being done. Once the lion is fixed, once we have that treasure, I no longer have to worry about trying to save those, except that I don't want the island sinking. Okay, we're over to green. And he's going to go 1, 2, put some more crap in the deck to prevent those Waters Rising from being the only things out there. The size of the deck, it gets depleted more quickly in more players. In 2 players, you have to discard more of the cards that you're drawing or get them played. In 4, you're holding them. That could make some differences as well as to the difficulty level. Alright, that was all my actions here for him. He gets a sandbag and a rock and 3 of these. The Crimson Forest. It's okay that there's just a lot of water in the ground. Except that means a lot of things are ready to fall once the waters rise again. But when that comes out is really when you're at risk. Okay. And now we go here to the gray player. Now the gray player has a fire. Yellow can get a fire to red. So I'm going to fling a fire to red for my first action. I don't have to be adjacent to him to do that because that's my special ability. So that's 1. And now I want to shore some things up. I'm worried about the Coral Palace. I'm even more worried about this. And I think I want to keep the connection there. So I'm going to spend my second and third action fixing some of the land. And now we got to see, and we're getting close to the water's rise. I get a rock and a helicopter. And I'm at my 5 cards. That's my limit. Now I could use that helicopter to help someone else move more quickly, and that might be a good idea. I don't have to wait until it's my turn. I don't have to use an action on it. Yellow here wants to hand something off to red, and then I want to do some fixing. Now I could move red as well. So I'll move, that's my special ability. I'll move 1, 2. He's got to throw something away now. That's one problem. I don't have that treasure yet. I was kind of set up to do it. I had enough of them on the board, but you know what? We're drawing things quickly enough. I think that's okay. So now for my third action, I could move red to this fire space, but he can do that himself. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix something. I want to fix something kind of near Fool's Landing rather than on the other side. All things being equal, that one seems like a good play to me. That puts me to my draws. 1. I get a third cup. I'm real close. I just need somebody to hand one, and luckily the messenger actually has that. And 2, this is my 6th card. At this point, I have to think real hard. Do I want to fly red with a helicopter lift, or do I want to sandbag something? I think I want to sandbag the Coral Palace because I can get there fairly easily with my greens. Okay, and now we start sinking stuff. And it's the City of Embers. which means the Tidal Palace and the Iron Gate. And luckily for us, we're getting to run through most of the water deck before that third Water Rises comes up. There is a danger that you're just constantly hitting the same territories and that you end up with very little island left. I've been avoiding that both in this game and in the couple of opposed games I've played. I'm going to have to stick my little plug in here. All right, that puts it on red. He's got an easy job. 1, 2. He grabs the fire. Does anybody really need the rock? You know, not so much at this moment. I want to fix things. So I'm going to fix these 2. Because remember, his special ability is he gets to fix 2 things at once. And then he gets a cup. And the final Waters Rise. Just going to push this up. And I'll shuffle these and put them on top. And we're going to see some destruction very soon. Took the moment to reshuffle the main deck there. The rules actually are explicit about that. You're supposed to reshuffle it as soon as it runs out. An old group I used to play with would say, hey, we always reshuffle as soon as a card needs to be drawn. Just as a general play rule. But these rules actually specify. All right, we've got to draw some of these, and we're up into the 4 region now, which means we better start winning pretty soon. Temple of the Moon. Crimson Forest. Cave of Embers. There's an annoyance to the whole mechanical complexity of it, and the Bronze Gate goes away. Okay, so I don't know where I was mentally there. Yeah, so all the Waters Rises are back in here, and we can jump up 3 more spaces pretty quickly. That's why the legendary level is so hard, because in 2 decks you will die automatically if you go through 2 decks completely in that level. In this level, it's somewhere in the 3rd deck that you die, and I think that's the case with all the others, but it's early. It's more likely to be early in the 3rd deck. Okay, so we go over to the Explorer, who is green, and he's got a fire, which is useless. He's got sandbags, which are cool, and I got to keep them in mind. And he's got this rock. Now, I've got to worry about the rocks because 2 of them are here. One's in the, you can always examine the decks. One's down here, though, so I'm not ready to die based on that yet. I don't think I have to play my sandbag yet. So the question is then, who's going to collect up the rocks? Because the cups seem to be in Yellow's hands. I would kind of like to give the rocks to someone. Let's see. Someone other than me. The messenger is the worst person to carry things, so we're going to give him to the engineer, because the messenger can fling things to people, so he's really good at doing stuff. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I can shore something up, and it really doesn't make a difference what. So I'll do this for 3. Not good. I'm just going to say, well, we're going to draw 4 cards, so these are all going to come up, so it doesn't matter what order I shuffle them into. And I get a 2nd fire, which is of no use whatsoever. So these cards, like I said, we shuffle them, but it doesn't make a difference because there's at least 4 cards coming, so we'll pull them back. The Temple of the Moon. You know what? Knowing that, I'm going to play the sandbags to put the Temple of the Moon back in play. Okay, so the Temple of the Moon sinks. The Crimson Forest sinks. We have to deal, well, it sinks completely. Temple of the Moon just got flooded. So now I have to think here, but I know the next one's going to be the Cave of the Embers, which is also going to go down. And we don't really know the order of these, but we all know exactly what they are. The fourth card, I can't pick yet. I've got to deal with these two sinking. So, this is not a good place to be because he can't get out of there. So he'll go here, even though there's some value to being there. And I've already got greens rock. I want yellows and grays, so I'll go there with red. Okie dokie. Let's see, we've got one more of these to play. And that's going to be the Temple of the Sun. And it's a damn good thing that I raised the Temple of the Moon because this is dead and there's only one place to get it. Now, we've got some problems. It's hard to get here. It's going to take me 2 helicopter cards to get in and out of there because I don't have a diver who can swim through to get to there. Such is life, right? Okay. So now, we're on Red's turn, and Red has these 2 damn rocks. He's the wrong person at this point. But what I want to do is 1, 2, 3. I needed him to have the rocks in hand already. I don't want to do that. I want to do 1. What did I do? 2, 3. Yeah, I could do that. Okay. But I wanted to hand that cup off first. Now, there's a problem here. He's got to throw something away. He's gonna use his helicopter lift, I think, to get shit. See, I don't have a good option here. Because if I use the helicopter lift, we're going to have trouble getting him out and winning at the same time without going through the whole deck. So we kind of need that, but I also kind of need this rock to hand off to him. So I'm getting hit with a hard problem here, which is I have to get rid of a card. If I fly to the green thing, that doesn't terribly help me right away. I can walk there. Yeah. I gotta think. I made a choice to fly to the green thing, set myself up for this. That way I can also hand off a rock. I may not be handing it to the engineer though. It may well be the explorer who's going to be getting all the rocks. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard for him though, because it's easier to pass this guy 2 rocks and helicopter him in and out. The problem with that is I have to wait for the entire deck to go down. I think there's only 3 helicopter cards. Indeed there are. So now I got to make that choice, right? No, I drew my cards. Now I get to destroy stuff. Phantom Rock goes away. That's 1. 2. Tidal Palace. It's all dying. 3 is the Iron Gate. And 4 is the Twilight Hollow. I don't think we're gonna make it this time. It's, you know, it's a hard game. Even at the normal level, it's quite possible to get screwed. And we won both times that I played, but okay. So this is just hard. 1, 2. I think I'll stay here because he's got some movement to do and I don't want to get too far away. And now we draw some cards. We get some garbage. And we start destroying stuff. Howling Garden. It does not look promising. Alright. On to green. Green's got a couple of fire. They're totally useless to me. I can go 1, 2, 3, I guess. We get another Water's Rise. That puts us into the 5 zone. We've only got 4 cards, so we know what's going to be destroyed. The Coral Palace, Twilight Hollow is going away, Iron Gate, Temple of the Moon. I don't think we don't have a sandbag, so it's no real big deal. But before anything else happens, I get another card, and it's another Water's Rise, which pumps this up. That's kind of a bonus, because it doesn't restack the deck and cause us more problems. We know we can get through the rest of this deck without there being an issue. So we're going to see these come up again, and I'm not going to bother shuffling them because that doesn't serve any real purpose. And I think we may have just been saved by that double Water's Rising. I don't know. Things look pretty bad. That was 2. There's a lot of this to draw. The Coral Palace. 3. Fool's Landing. And the Whispering Gardens go away. Okay. So that's that was green's turn. Now we're on to the messenger. Well, the messenger can drop 1 and fling it over to green. That's 1 action. 2. Other than that, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do, but I can move here where it puts me in a better position to kind of provide some support to other players in terms of shoring things up. I get a lion and a fire. I'll throw the fire away. I don't need that. I don't need the lion either, but I don't think I can discard without good cause. And now we get these. 1, 2. 3. You got to keep things where they started in location wise. 4, 5. Now there is another danger, one that I haven't mentioned. Once this deck runs out, it gets reshuffled. That's going to happen very shortly, and that means all this stuff that I thought was kind of safe, nah, it's not. It can all go. All right, and with the waters at 5, that's going to be pretty easy to happen. Who just went? Gray just went. That puts us on yellow. 1, I grab the cup. 2, I throw the rock over to the explorer. And 3, I don't know which one's most important. I think the watchtower is more important. So we'll fix that. And now we die. I get some sandbags. Sandbags are useful. We're going to be reshuffling the deck. There's only 1 of these available. I'm sandbagging it. Okay. And now we have 5 draws here. The Cliffs of Abandon are our first. And then I'll be back after shuffling the deck. All right, 4 more picks, and we're in some danger here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The danger would have been if the Coral Palace went. Then we'd have to helicopter whoever's carrying the shit in there. Now we're on the red player. I can fling 2 of these over to green. I'm adjacent. And now my special ability is to fix 2 adjacent areas. 1, 2. That'll be my 3rd action. Yeah. We get a rock and a fire. And we get 5 of these. The Watchtower. There's not a lot of deck left. We're pretty much doomed here. There's not a lot of island left. In fact, each of these is going to get hit once, and one of them is going to get hit twice. I think we're doomed, but let's see. Because we do have some helicopters and such now. So that was red that just went, I believe. No? Yeah. So that puts us on green. 1, 2. We get the last of the items. Three, I think, to fix this, because I can be helicoptered out of there if that's untenable. We'll see. I'm not sure I'm making the right choice there. Now I get 2 of these. One's a lion, and if a Water Rises comes up, it's game over, and there's a very good chance that this is going to kill the game as well. The draws. That's the game. Now, the sinkings probably would have done it. If I could have had, you know, everybody here, then I could have helicoptered him out of there and then helicoptered to win the game. But we weren't in that position. So we had to play it out through a list of a series of things that were almost guaranteed to wreck us. All right. I guess I'll come back with a review. It's going to be short as hell, but this video is long enough that I don't really think that... I think that having an intro and a review to it is fair enough. All right, up it goes. Okay, Forbidden Island. And the hell with doing it on a separate video. I think I'm going to be about 10 minutes on this. So, look, the core design is essentially the same kind of idea. Yes, this pandemic, we're all fighting to save the world. The difference, of course, is that you're directly threatened by the loss of pieces. And to me, that's a significant change. That actually kind of excites it for me. Or excites me about it. But the problem is, in essence, this comes down to being almost a children's game. I'm not someone who likes to replay games a lot, but after playing this twice with my wife, my feeling was, all right, I don't know when I'd ever want to play this again. I really don't. I can say that about a lot of my games, though. I have a lot of them that I play because they come up in sequence, because, you know, I feel like I should play all my games or something. So it will happen that I'll play it again, but it's largely an uninteresting situation, kind of like solving the same crossword puzzle again or something. It's ever changing, but there's just not enough here to really sort of capture me in the same way. I think Pandemic did a better job. I almost want to go play it again just to see, gee, is there something better about Pandemic than this? Because this left me with, the first time I played it, hey, that's kind of cool. I like it. I like the race. But I'll tell you, you know, I mean, other kind of multiplayer solitaire, Red November, things like that, they make me feel kind of the same way. There's almost no story here, right? You're constantly just moving around trying to optimize these cards. You're not really worried about what's going on. There's no opportunity for role-playing. And because it's a hard game, well, not if you set it, I guess. Normal, I still felt like I was fighting hard to beat the deck. Maybe at Novice, it's pretty easy. There's no real room for any kind of silliness or role-playing or anything of that nature. You're just there optimizing as best as you can to win. And maybe that's a fun little corporate exercise or something. I could see it serving that purpose. But I don't really see it for a gamer as being the kind of game that you'd come back to again and again. Maybe I don't understand all gamers, though. I'm not sure. You know, but again, it would be cute to use with a bunch of non-gamers as kind of a gateway to the co-op type game. It might be cool to bring to kids to help them, you know, with their problem-solving type skills. Or the corporate environment. It's the same thing, right? Children and corporate executives and such. I feel like they're about equivalent in terms of how they're capable of handling things. Component-wise, the little cards, you probably want to sleeve these if you're going to get a lot of play out of it. I bought a used game of it, and they're a little chipped up around the edges. I don't really care. It's not that big a deal, right? These things, my wife totally loved the little toys. But then again, she's into little toys, so... the cards, the tiles, the only real problem with these suckers is the fact that they're double printed, but you know what? You just don't look when you're shuffling. It's kind of odd to do that, but it's not really an issue at all. This thing's kind of cute. It shows you how bad it's getting as it moves up and up. But again, you know... In my book, this is something that might be cute to bring to a coffee house one day, play a couple of games of. Probably wouldn't want to see it again. It was fun for me and my wife, a couple of plays, but certainly not something that would have been worth buying, you know, at new prices, or probably it wasn't even worth the shipping costs. If you've got children, though, and you want to bring them into gaming, and no, not 10 and up, probably fairly, they always lie on those things, right? Probably significantly younger than that, where they really want to work, where you want to get them working on problem-solving type skills. This is actually a pretty good call for starting them on that path. It might be fun, that seeing the world dissolve in front of you as you're trying to figure out how best to react to that. Of course, you know, again, in that use, it doesn't serve its purpose when they're able to deal with it. Then it just becomes kind of a fun little thing for them, or a boring little thing for them, as it would for a normal gamer. I'm not sure about corporate types. They might just enjoy it forever, right? Okay, up it goes. No, I'm not really digging. I'm sure some of you are like in positions of corporate authority.